Hello everyone, it's Yoshi and your boy, Jetblack the One and Only, here with another exciting video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about my top 5 favorite video games of all time. Make sure to tell me what your top 5 favorite video games of all time are in the comment section below. So, for number 5, and these are in no particular order, I'm just going to go backwards from 5 to 1. So I'm going to count down my top 5. So number 5, again in no particular order, Jet Set Radio for the Dreamcast. So Jet Set Radio is not the first video game I ever played, but one of the first video games I ever played. The first video game I ever played was Sonic for the Sega Genesis. So Jet Set Radio is one of the games that I played when I was a little bit older, once my family got a Dreamcast. And I really dig the soundtrack for Jet Set Radio. I love that you were able to create your own graffiti that you use throughout the game. And it's pretty much a game where you play as a member of a roller skating graffiti gang that's trying to avoid the police, who will attack you using anything at their disposal. So they'll like tackle you, they'll try to shoot you, they'll summon like tanks, and you gotta like grind on rails to avoid getting shot at by like tanks. They'll call in like helicopters that'll shoot at you with like machine guns, and your only real method of fighting back is with spray paint. Jet Set Radio is a pretty solid game. If you guys don't have an opportunity to check it out, maybe because you don't own a Dreamcast or own a system that can play a digital download version, at the very least I would recommend checking out the soundtrack online. Number 4, again in no particular order, Psychonauts. Psychonauts is an open world video game. Well, I wouldn't call it open world video game. That was a little bit of an exaggeration. It's kind of like a hub world game where you can travel around and you can interact with these different characters at this camp that's made up of psychic children who are essentially trying to become the future of like the psychic CIA. You play as a boy who's run away from his home. He's a member of a circus, and his dad hates psychics, but he himself is a psychic. So the boy feels like he's not accepted in the circus where he's from, and he's trying to embrace that he's a psychic and become a member of the psychic CIA. The big selling point of Psychonauts that makes it really unique, like I said, the camp acts as a hub world, but the levels themselves involve you entering the minds of different characters at the camp, and each person's mental domain acts as its own unique level where you run around and interact with other interesting characters, and you develop more and more psychic abilities that you can use inside of these worlds as well as in the normal world once you return back to the camp. Psychonauts is a wonderful game. I actually own it for Xbox and for PS2, and I've beaten the game multiple times. I am definitely a fan of Psychonauts. Next up, we have number 3, again in no particular order, Batman Arkham City. So I have played Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. I've played some of Batman Arkham Origins, and I've played some of Batman Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham City is my favorite superhero video game of all time. I've beaten it on multiple occasions. I love how the combat works. I know that a lot of people hate on the combat and feel like it's just smashing square and then hitting triangles sometimes to counter. But if you look online at people who like take the combat very seriously and not only just hit square and triangle, but also stun opponents and also take advantage of how different enemies have different weaknesses that you need in order to like bypass and get around those enemies, which prevents you from just hitting square and triangle, which I think is what a lot of people would realize if they played those games for any significant period of time. Anyways, you can also incorporate gadgets and stuff into your combat combos as well, but combat isn't the only thing that makes these games really stand out. I also love the Predator missions. They're actually my favorite element of the Batman games. I like sneaking around and stealthily taking down opponents, using your gadgets in interesting ways, and fulfilling Predator mission objectives where they want you to take out enemies using very specific methods, as well as using the environment around you to take down enemies. Anyways, enough about Batman Arkham City. It's my favorite superhero video game of all time. Definitely a very solid story. There was a lot of DLC content that I really enjoyed about Batman Arkham City. All in all, great game. Really fuck with it. Next up, Fable 3. Now, I know a lot of people are going to give me flack on Fable 3. They're going to be like, come on, why is Fable 3 your number 2? Again, there's no particular order, but it is my number 2 right now. Fable 3 The reason why I rate it over Fable 1 and Fable 2, I did own Fable 1 and Fable 2. I didn't really play them. Again, when I was younger, my brother had a lot of video games, and I would sometimes play my brother's games, and I sometimes wouldn't. Fable 3 is the only Fable game that I played all the way through. I don't know why I really fell in love with it. I think the reason why is because it felt so slice of lifey for an adventure game. You know, a lot of Fable 3 was spent working a day job. You know, you would like make pies and shit in a kind of rhythm game fashion. And you would walk around, and every NPC that wasn't like an enemy, you could talk to, you could be nice to them and like complete missions for them and become friends with them. You could even like go on dates and get married to NPCs. You could smash. You could like start a family. You could buy a house. I bought all of the property in Fable 3. I like made sure to buy like literally every like building that I could. I worked my ass off at that pie station, and I made bank. I tried to befriend like every NPC I could run into in every city, and even when NPCs didn't like you, you could make them hate you so much that they give you gifts to leave them alone. I don't know why, but I think that's actually the most interesting thing about Fable 3 was how you were able to interact with all these different NPCs and have significant relationships with different NPCs. So you could run into Bob, and Bob could be like, "Fuck you," and you'd be like, "Yeah, nice to see you, Bob." And you could run into Sally, and Sally's like, "Oh, yo, it's good to see you. I got you this fish," and you're like, "Oh, thanks. I don't know why you got me a fish, but this is cool." You know, Fable 3 is. I want more games like that, where it just really feels like you're just a part of this world, and you're just kind of living a life. But there's a greater story beyond that that gives you motivation to just kind of live a life and be in that world. So yeah, that's why I really vibe with Fable 3. And then finally, number one, I'm sure you guys saw this coming a mile away. My number one for my top five favorite games of all time, Lego Worlds. Lego Worlds. Now, I talk about Lego Worlds all the time. So I'll just explain it like as quickly as I can. Lego Worlds is a game that has a bunch of procedurally generated planets that have a variety of different biomes that you can traverse to and solve missions for NPCs. So you essentially run around these worlds, you're able to discover different objects, creatures, and vehicles that you then can summon on command whenever you want. You can create your own worlds and you can landscape the different planets that you travel to. It gives you so much creative freedom and allows you to essentially just make your own fun, and I can't get enough of it. Lego Worlds also has a nice custom character system where you can customize how your character operates, and it has different weapons that your character can wield in order to overcome different challenges. All in all, Lego Worlds is it's number one, but I'm not gonna say the whole in not in any particular order thing. It just is number one. It's just really good. Come on, Lego Worlds. I gotta give it to it. That is my number one for my top five. So to give you guys a summary again of my top five favorite video games of all time, it's Lego Worlds at number one, Fable 3 at number two, Batman Arkham City for number three, Psychonauts for number four, and Jet Set Radio for number five. Again, tell me in the comment section below what are your top five favorite video games of all time, and what did you guys think of my top five? Make sure to let me know, and thank you all once again for watching. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these videos. It's your host, your friend, your boy, Jeff Like the One Only, logging out, and peace.